relationships. There's different types of relationships. Back at you with another video coming at you from chooseyourrelationships.com. Offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on amazon.com. So this is a question that I got a couple days ago. Someone wanted to know, a long-time follower wanted to talk, because he wanted me to talk about the different dynamics of relationships and what can happen and how does it play out in most social environments between men and women, and sometimes even between women and women and men and men. So this is a very important topic. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, and I can only say what I have experienced. And see, when I was younger, in my 20s, I was very naive when it comes to relationships, just in general. Now you have to understand there's different types of relationships between men and women. Some people have open relationships. Some people have traditional relationships. Some people are poly. Different types of poly, different type of variations of polygamous relationships. Some people have there's subculture relationships where it's like they don't necessarily have a title, but you know, the in the underworld there's a lot of different type of relationships that can go down. You can't really put a title on everything, you know, so I'm not gonna get into titles because I'm not really into that very much. I tell stories and I call it how I see it, and I give my perspective and my perception on what I saw and what I've experienced. So with all that being said, you have to understand that it's not what I think about relationships or you think about relationships. It's what other people think about relationships as well. So it's kind of, you know, A and B side. It's like, you know, there's two sides to this. But here's the problem. The problem is if one side can't get on the same page, that's when the relationship usually goes down the tube. Because, you know, I used to be very naive. See, I used to think like this. If this person likes me, we have a good relationship, they should automatically support me. But it doesn't happen like that very often, unfortunately. It seems like, this is my experience, it seems like whenever I step outside the box and attempt to do something, especially if it's going to generate income, it seems like in most cases the person that I'm close with, as far as a woman is concerned at the time, it seems like their perception of me changes for various reasons. And sometimes they can become competitive. They'll start to, you know, their whole demeanor might change, or they become, it's like they're competing against me now. This has happened to me a couple times. It's not just a one-shot deal type thing or whatever. You know, so this has happened to me at least 2-3 times. It's like 1 minute there, you know, she claims she cares about me, loves me, but the next minute she's kind of like standoffish, doesn't want to get involved. So, and I kind of got caught off guard when this happened, because you would think that someone that claims that they care about you so much, that they want to be with you long term, that it would seem like they wouldn't have any problems with anything that you're doing on the side to earn more money, not only for you but for them. So it's kind of like this: I start something new, maybe a startup, maybe a business opportunity or whatever, and I say, hey hun, check this out. Hey, why don't you, this is what I got, why don't you help me, support me, and then eventually I'll show you how to do the same thing if you want to. Not only will I show you how to do the same thing, I'll show you how to do it better than me. Now that sounds good, but I'm here to tell you, in most cases, it's gonna be a lot of pushback. Because I've learned that see, there's different types of relationships. There's the personal relationship and there's the business relationship. And now most people don't necessarily call it that. They don't necessarily put a title on it that way. But if you look at their way of thinking and how they function, you would see it this way. See, there's a personal relationship and there's a business relationship. Now, a business relationship would be anything related to generating income, basically. So that could be you're on your job, maybe you have a side hustle, maybe you started a company. So that's basically anything that's income related. Now, personal relationship would be, hey, y'all just hanging out, maybe you're sexing, having a good time, having fun, going to the football game, the basketball game, you're having a party, maybe y'all having a threesome, I don't know, whatever. But whatever it is, it's just personal. Money ain't got nothing to do with it. Income don't have nothing to do with it. This is just personal, and that's it, right? Now, see, I used to think that if we have a personal relationship, we get along pretty well, you like me, I like you, I used to automatically think that we can make money together. We can share money together. But it doesn't work out like that most of the time. Most of the time, it's some pushback. Most of the time, there's some type of disagreement that's going on. There's something. I'd be like, hey, what's the problem? I mean, I've been knowing you for years, months, years. We get along. We can coexist in the same environment. We can talk about almost anything. And that's the problem with a lot of, I'm not going to say most people, but a lot of people. See, most people want to put like a red line. It's like a dotted line. There's certain boundaries they don't cross with certain people. That's the thing. And you might be in a relationship with somebody like this. There's certain boundaries they don't cross. There's certain things they don't do with certain people. And see, I used to have a problem with that. So it's kind of like, I know some guys that's like this. And I know some women that's like this too. It's like they'll hang out with you all day long. Day and night. Might even take trip with you. But their sister, their daughter is off limits to you. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. That doesn't make, hey, I'm a good guy, Now, let's keep in mind, I'm not one of these guys that, that's not my thing. If I'm friends with you, if you're a guy and I'm friends with you, I don't approach your sisters or your daughter. But I have been approached by them, by other women before in situations like this, but I turned them down. But I know some guys, regardless of how great they think you are, they don't want you around their sister. Period. Right? So that's more of, that'd be more of a personal relationship. And I know some guys, doesn't matter how good of a person they think you are, they don't want to share no money with you. They don't want to share no power with you. They don't want to share anything income related with you. If y'all work together, that's it. Y'all just work together. If y'all make money together, any income related activities together, that's it. That's all y'all do. But y'all don't really have a personal relationship though. So it could go either or. And this is the thing that I didn't realize in my 20s because I was so naive. I used to think that if we spending all this time together, if I'm calling you, I'm going to your house and everything to visit and everything, I'm thinking that it's an open door policy. It's like if anything I want to know, if I need any favors, that being that I spend most of my time with you, that it shouldn't be a big deal. But it doesn't work out like that most of the time. And that's the problem. And that's the dilemma that I had early in the beginning, in the beginning when I was in my 20s, because I was so naive. I used to think that if we're all cool in the game, I spend most of my time with you, and I might need a little favor. Hey man, just drop me off to the airport. No big deal. But can't do it. I'd be like, hey, I'm doing this. Do I have your support? Can't do it. I'm like, you can't come for you leave you passing by every day to where we're gonna be at the event. You can't stop for 10-15 minutes. Can't do it. And I realized that this is taking me after a couple years, after I came to the realization that when I'm out and about in this world, everybody basically is competing against me. It's taken me a long time to let that sink in. Everybody is really competing against me out here. When I say everybody, I'm not saying 100% of people, but the majority. When you're at your job, just know that just because someone's cool with you, just because someone's talking to you, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're cool with you or that y'all buddies and good friends. No. And y'all could be cool at work for years, but that same person might stab you in the back when it's time for them to get promoted, or when it's time for you to get promoted. They might say something to put some salt in your game. It happens, and I used to think that, okay, let's say I meet a woman that's a man or a woman. We from the same hometown or whatever. We know some of the same people. I used to think that, hey, being that we from the same town, hey, we homegirls and homeboys, I give them the benefit of the doubt just like they give me the benefit of the doubt. No, they don't. Most of them don't. No, I used to think like this, and there's no absolutes, but the majority of the time, it doesn't happen like that. Majority of the time, your homegirl, your homeboy, they're not going to put a good word in for you at the job. They're not going to put in a good word for you in almost any environment. The only way they'll put a good word in for you is if they get some type of kickback from it. And even still then, they won't do it. But a lot of times they'll go along and play along and act like they're doing something, but in reality, they're not doing anything. I'll give you another example. A couple years ago, I was looking for a job. This is in Atlanta, and there's a girl and a guy worked at these two companies that I was about to apply for at the time, and I learned that they worked there. So I said, hey, I'm gonna apply for a job here. So hey, I'm gonna put in my resume today or tomorrow. So hey, why don't if you have any pull up in there, I would appreciate if you put in a give me a referral or put in a good word for me, And both of them said, hey, okay, that's cool. Just email me with your resume and go to the website and apply, and let me know, once you register for an account and everything or whatever, right? So they basically they acted like they were doing something, but lo and behold, I found out months later they didn't do anything. Not only did they didn't do anything, I mean, it appears that one person didn't even open the email. The email never got open from one person, and the other person, I found out months later that through the manager, the hiring manager, the person in HR said they never got my resume through this person, or from this person, I should say. They never got my resume. They never mentioned my name, never came across her desk, none whatsoever. None. And we're from the same hometown, same high school and everything. So this happens. And the other guy, same thing. We went to college together. I've known him for years. But he never opened the email. And then the reason why I know he never opened the email, because you can track emails today more than ever. This has been going on probably 5-10 years ago now. If you send somebody an email, you can see if they open up the email, the date and the time. So he never opened the email. So it's like, just because you're cool with just because in your mind, if y'all get along pretty well and everything, don't assume that people are gonna help you out or support you. Don't depend on anybody for your livelihood. That's the whole point of doing this video. Don't depend on anybody. Your parents, your sister, your brother, your friends, your so-called friends, your associates, your woman, your kids. Don't depend on anybody for your livelihood. Don't expect very much of anything from anybody. Expect very little. If people do something, be grateful for it, because it's very rare that people do what they say. It's rare. A lot of people will fake the funk. They'll perpetrate the fraud. They'll act like they're so supportive. They'll smile in your face and stab you in the back. And people, and keep in mind, just everybody that you have around you today, ask yourself this question: why are they around you? Look, you're not special. The only people that think you're special are your parents. So question every reason why someone would be around you. Why is this woman around you? Why is this man and this woman around you that you just met last week? What is it about you that got their attention until they wanted to stick around you? Are they around you just for a short-term, long-term relationship? Is it business related? Is it personal? It is what it is. I'm not saying you shouldn't have personal relationships or business relationships, but you have to understand the politics of what comes along with these relationships. See, me personally, I try not to mix the personal and the business relationship together. I try not to. But I know on these jobs, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Because the jobs is a playground for affairs and all kinds of sexual favors and people trying to sleep their way to the top to get promoted and everything. So the jobs is a combination of business and personal relationships. But me personally, I like to keep things separate because it's simple that way and it's less complicated that way. From a man's perspective, not from a woman's perspective. If you have to wait on a woman to create boundaries, it's never gonna happen. So keep that in mind. Next time you have a bunch of people around you, or maybe you still have a bunch of people around you, always ask, why is this person around me? What are they trying to do? Because everybody's trying to do something. So just always keep that in mind. Keep things in perspective and don't be naive. You know, people come and go with the seasons. You know, don't expect very little from people. People rotate in and rotate out. Most people you meet today, you're not going to meet, you're not going to see them 10, 20 years from now. You're not going to see them when you get old. They're not going to be around like that, especially if you live in a big city. If you live in a small town, that's a little different. But if you live in a big city, people come in and come out. Most of them are going to be gone. It's going to be a small percentage of them going to stick around. At the end of the day, you're going to have 2 to 5 people that's going to have your back once everybody's gone. And that's how it is, because most people are like roaches. They go in and out. That's how it is. That's just a part of life. Nothing serious. It is what it is, man. So hey, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Tell me why you think people are around you. Leave your comments below. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.